for MX1. Here we go. Who is going to get that all-important hole shot? Have a look at Gibbs trying to go around the outside.
He is on a mission right now.
Oh, look at this. Beaten.
Escaped the carnage.
A battle of survival here in this first moto, and he has come out on top.
Welcome to Maitland in New South Wales. Set halfway between Newcastle and the vineyards of the Hunter Valley, this gorgeous town has something for everyone, big and small. Tasty treats, activities, arts, culture, and fairy farm friends. So jump on your bike and come visit us in Maitland, because we are going racing for round 4 of the Penrite ProMX Championship, presented by AMX Superstores. Hi, my name is Hi-Tec, and with me is 11-time National Motocross Champion Lee Hogan. It's great to be back in Maitland, the breeding ground for so many of Australia's top motorcycle races.
Yeah, look, Kate, there must be something in the water here. You look at some of the names, Chad Reed, our very own commentator, Danny Ham, and his nemesis, Craig Anderson. So many big names from the area.
Well, we are at the halfway mark, a pivotal time, but let's revisit where we left off. Gilman, where Carl Webster took the glory and the red plate by 1 point.
He sure did. What a dominant day it was, going 1-1, just like he did at Wonthaggi, but it wasn't without its battles. Of course, Jed Beaton was super fast. He was leading early, and another crash from Jed Beaton will put Carl Webster in a favourable position, coming out on top, and that red plate looking good.
So, massive two-day weekend this weekend. All the main classes have 3 motos each. We kicked off with the AMX Superstores pole position, which Jed Beaton took for the 4th time this season.
Yeah, Jed Beaton was fantastic, but it wasn't without a bit of a tug-of-war battle once again with Kyle Webster, who was fastest in qualifying by a couple of seconds. Then Jed Beaton came out and eclipsed his time by 2.5 seconds in the pole shootout. So great to watch this unfolding.
In MX1 Moto 1, it was KTM's Nathan Crawford who brought home the bacon so good.
Well, what a battle for the ages this one was. The first half of the race, you could have thrown a blanket over these 3 riders, Nathan Crawford, Jed Beaton and Kyle Webster. It was a mistake from Webster and a little crash of that Honda machine that put Nathan Crawford in a fantastic spot. And I tell you what, he was so stoked after that win.
Okay, a massive day of racing ahead. Let's head over to our expert commentator, Danny Ham.
If anything's to go off from yesterday, it is insane racing that we are about to see in the MX1. A rider that has really come to form here at this round so far in the first moto, Kawasaki Luke Clout. Mate, fantastic ride yesterday. Great to see you back up there, really challenging it out. How did you find the first moto?
Yeah, I felt pretty good. I was pretty good in the beginning and kind of just made a few mistakes and yeah, rode a pretty, smooth, steady race, but it was good to be able to get a race in yesterday and, come back and make some changes. And I think, it's been a building process for me, but I think we're starting to, find our feet.
From the outside looking in, it really appears that this particular track is one of those tracks that could bring those mistakes in quite easy. Is that something you're finding?
Yeah, definitely. It's, it's the typical Maitland, but it's got different pieces to it, like it's quite ruddy with, some deep holes in it, and each line, you go further out, it kind of starts doing that as well. So you've got to be very patient with your line choice, but then, you've got your hard and shiny and kind of slick bits as well. So, it's a different Maitland this year.
Well, good luck, mate. Luke Clout, certainly fast. Keep an eye on him.
Nathan Crawford on the KTM, P3 for the Super Pole qualifying, but also taking Moto 1 win yesterday with your first hole shot. Can you talk us through your Moto and how you're feeling this weekend?
Yeah, I'm feeling really good. Every time we've hit the track, we've been toward the front. So, yeah, it gives me lots of confidence for the races. I typically go really well around here. I really like the soil and the ruts, and yeah, it's right up my alley. So stoked to get the moto win yesterday. We had to enjoy it, but regroup quickly. We've got 2 motos today, and yeah, the job's not done. So yeah, looking forward to getting these 2 races underway.
Yeah, obviously, it is a different format with the 3 races. Are you enjoying this format? And what is key to success at this track at Maitland?
Oh, I mean, you take a look down the start line. Obviously, we've got plenty of good dudes. So yeah, getting that start definitely helps. And yeah, just riding clean laps. I think that's what it comes down to.
All right, best of luck out there, Nathan Crawford.
Thanks.
we are going to head over for the Michelin track preview with your expert commentators, Danny Ham and Lee Hogan.
Welcome to this week's Michelin track preview. And we're of course at the iconic Maitland circuit for round 4 of the championship. But for this week's track preview, we've got something a little different for you. My co-commentator and partner in crime, Danny Ham, he's got rid of the ProMX uniform and he's put some Fox gear on, and he's gonna cut a couple of laps for us here at Maitland. Let's see what you got, Danny.
Here we go, down the first straight in Maitland. It's quite a fast, long straight into this very long sweeping left, and it shows the importance of getting good gate position leading into here, because you can get pinched off quite easily. Off this quick drop off and then down into the tight left. This is where all the riders will bunch up together, and already we're starting to see a lot of different lines. With this surface that we've been presented, there is so many ruts out there. Up and over this tabletop, a little bit short that time actually, but down into the long right-hander here. Plenty of different ruts through Michelin turn. Great line selection through here, and then the 2 biggest jumps on the track. 3rd gear wide open before we launch down this straight, and I can tell you what, the roost off the back of these things down here can hurt massively. Into this right and then the left. Now this here is a new part of the track. Of course it's always been here, but this particular jump is now a big double, and that's wide open on the 450. Still coming up slightly short that time around. Through the left-hander, up and over the roller, and then we get into the rollers, which is a place we saw a lot of passes last year through this particular section, swinging off the back of the bike, going through there. Whoa, almost looped that out that time. Around the left-hander here, and then another tabletop before we head into the long right sand corner. And again, another area we saw a lot of different passes through here. A few bumps up the inside, not too many lines early in the day, but we expect to see a lot more. Second last turn before the finish here, inside, outside options all the way around. And then this little double before, a little double to the inside here, pop up and over. Get on the gas so hard, up and over the finish, and there's one real quick lap, or maybe a slow lap, around Maitland.
Well, that is one hot lap around the Maitland circuit from our former Supercross superstar, Danny Ham. Now, Danny, we're used to riding nice, smooth ride parks. It looks pretty technical, a lot of ruts out there. How'd you feel?
Yeah, look, it was pretty good. It is technical at the moment. We've had a lot of rain leading into this. We thought it was going to be a mutter. It's quite the opposite. There is a lot of grip down on the track. It's going to go very hard packed though later on, but the ruts that are forming right now, there's a lot of different lines that we're not used to seeing, so really going to open up those really good racing. Going to have to be on your A game if you want to get through this one clean today.
Can't wait to see what these races have got for us. Big thanks to Michelin for our track preview. Yeah, the track looks absolutely fantastic, and inside our commentary box here, we've got a very strong smell of liniment or deep heat from Danny Ham rubbing out those forearms and perhaps the calf muscles here. So good job, Hammy. Always good to see you out there on the bike, and a fantastic job for our Michelin track preview.
Right, let's head down to Kate.
Got Alistair Kent here, crew chief of CDA Yamaha Monster Energy. Alistair, obviously, the really terrible news that Dean Ferris is not here. He did come off in practice yesterday. Can you give us an update on how he is and what the injury is about?
Yeah, so really unfortunate. Dean had an off and a really sincere head knock yesterday. So he went to hospital. He got cleared last night and he was able to come out here, so that was good. So he didn't have to stay the night in hospital. He's fractured some bones in his hand. And he's got to get scans tomorrow on his wrist to find out more with that. But yeah, he is in good mindset, and yeah, he's back out here, he's signing posters for kids, so he is in good health.
Excellent. Well, we still have one very good representative in terms of Jed Beaton out there, so we do wish you the best of luck at this moto.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, well, glad to hear that Dean Ferris already on the mend. Let's take a look at the Thor MX1 lineup. Moto2, Jed Beaton, Kyle Webster, Nathan Crawford, Kirk Gibbs, Luke Klaus.
Bailey Malkowitz got himself a 6th there in front of Waters, Watson. Blake Fox, welcome return back to ProMX. Great to see him out there. Looks very good on a 450, as to other privateer there of Liam Jackson.
Matt Moss there, of course, on the gas machine. Great to see him back. Luke Zielinski, Levi Rogers, Joel Evans, and Brett Metcalf, the South Australian.
And Rogers was up there yesterday as well. He sat in the top 10, deep in the top 10 for quite a long time in Moto #1. So it was great to see him up there getting a good result as well.
Harrison Foster, Zane Dunlop, Siegel Ward, the list goes on. Some big names here in our MX1 lineup.
As we get set to get this one underway, the fans here at the track were absolutely treated to an epic race yesterday. Hopefully we get to see that again.
Absolutely, and before we have the drop of the gate here, a big thank you to the Maitland City Council for all of their support. And what a great day we are seeing here. The sun is shining in the Newcastle region.
So our boys getting set to get this one underway. We have seen the starts come from what is probably the outside, but the inside, it's a difficult start gate. The left of screen basically is where the starts have come from, although I was down there where Beaton is, just in front of the gate there. It's not that pretty, so you really need to be on your game to get out that gate quick.
Well, far outside is Jed Beaton, then followed by Kyle Webster and Nathan Crawford. Kirk Gibbs also with a great start yesterday. Gibbs, he jumped out exceptionally well, but it looks like it's either Crawford or who was that up the inside? Is that Crawford with another?
Yep.
Yes, it's Crawford with his second hole shot in as many races.
Webster.
How about the late braking from Kyle Webster?
Absolutely wasting no time. I don't know where he came from. That other rider you were trying to pick up lead was Zach Watson on the number 8 machine. He also got himself a great start. Crawford, Beaton is there, Clout, Gibbs, they're all up there at the moment. Are we going to see a bit of a repeat from yesterday? Crawford took a couple of laps to get into his moto. He dropped back to 4th and then made his charge as we look at that WP Whole Shot Award being 199 of Nathan Crawford. But he is in a much better position yesterday, and I feel he was the strongest rider on track.
Well, Danny, a very good start from Jed Beaton back there in 3rd place, but Kirk Gibbs, he has been so impressive. Likewise yesterday, and he's done likewise here today. He wants to classify himself as not one of the old dogs. He wants to get there in the mix and show that he has still got plenty to fight for.
I don't know if you saw that then, but it looked like Beaton tried to clear his vision through those rollers. That was crazy. To take the hand off like that. Look at this, to the inside. Beautiful line. Is it going to hold though? It's right there side by side with Crawford. And to go back to Moto number 1 yesterday, Beaton got himself into the lead pretty quick. He started to extend a bit of a gap, and then the boys closed down. Oh, Beaton absolutely tipped it into that corner, moves himself into 2nd place.
That was the authority on that pass. That was just like, I can see my nemesis, Kyle Webster, out at the head of the pack. I do not want to watch him run off into the distance. I am coming past now.
And this is what Crawford did yesterday. He went back a couple of places, and it wasn't until around half race distance that he started to move forwards. And I don't think it was anyone slowing down. I just think Crawford got his act into gear, found the lines he wanted to run, and then just started moving forward. Gibbs is there, Clout, big scrub there in 5th place. He was strong yesterday as well.
Well, look, I tell you what, Nathan Crawford can't afford to relax too long because Kirk Gibbs is on a flyer. I think Nathan Crawford is just easing his way into this race a little too slowly, Danny.
Wow, Gibbs around the outside. Thank you very much. Moves himself into 3rd place, and you're exactly right there, Lee. He cannot allow these guys up the front to gap him like that. It's only going to make life so much harder to try and close that down. I'm really impressed with the aggression that we're seeing out of Gibbs, and even Clout back there. Waters is on the back of this as well.
Yeah, Waters also, like you said, Clout. Nathan Crawford can't tiptoe his way around here too much, or Luke Clout is going to pounce.
Around the outside was Crawford, searching for some new lines. Nice little pop there over the top of that drop-off by Waters on the 47 machine. Oh, a little bit loose on the exit there, though, for Waters. Those are little things, that are little mistakes, Lee, that can certainly tighten you up a little bit.
And once again, Danny, that last lap, our top 3 all in the 144s. Jed Beaton with a 144.2, the fastest of the bunch, as Crawford trying to get his way past Todd Waters once again.
Now Crawford was passed here on the outside by Gibbs earlier in this race. He has learned that line and moved it across. So there is the first one of Crawford. Can he continue to push forward and make some more passes? Have we seen the slump at the start of this race turn around now? He's picked up his lines and start to move forward. We'll keep an eye on those lap times over these next couple of laps to see if he truly has found that form.
He's just such a dangerous rider when he gets into a little bit of a rhythm, and I think I guarantee you inside his helmet, he'd been thinking to himself, forget about the riders, forget about the people that have come past. Let's just get back to the stage of where I felt good on the bike like yesterday. And I think that's what he's trying to find at the moment. He's already he's just gapped Todd Waters in about 3 corners. He is already starting to reel in Luke Clout. Now, if he is in that same form as yesterday, I don't know if he's going to make his way quite the way back to first place, but he could make me eat my words here. Let's wait and see.
So that there is the 102 machine of Matt Moss. He sits there just in front of Levi Rogers. That is for 9th and 10th. Around about those positions anyway. So Moss, Rogers battling it out. Good to see, as we said, good to see that the 23 machine is up there. The Beta machine having a good run this weekend at Maitland as he swings around. Zachary Watson there on the number 8 machine. Also a good run. There is Malkowitz on the 11. Double duties, as we said. This is a track that would be extremely hard to do 2 classes on, Lee.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And just for any of our viewers that haven't had a chance to watch any of our live streaming or keep up to date with the results, Bailey Malkowitz yesterday doing double duties likewise in MX2 and MX1. And what a fantastic MX2 second place in that moto. I cannot say enough for that guy. Still charging exceptionally hard, Bailey Malkowitz. Fantastic job.
Look down at it again, just there on a track that is, as we've said, so tricky with these ruts. The last thing you want is to have your concentration pulled away from the job at hand. And right now, Crawford is doing a great job at it. How's the jump up and over? They are wedged to get up and over that nice and clean. It's a pretty big jump. Although distance-wise, it's not that big, but to get up and over it, that is a big, big effort.
Yeah, combined with a seat bounce to get up and over as well. That's a big leap. I loved watching you do that while you were talking with the track preview. You still got it, Danny Ham. Good work. Luke Clout here on screen at the moment. He's trying to rebound as good as he can, but he's dropped 9.5 seconds off the back of Nathan Crawford, who's dealing with his own issues with the radiator shroud. But let me just point out on the leaderboard, 4.2 seconds is the gap now from Kyle Webster to Jed Beaton. Now, Danny, can you explain what we're seeing from the times here? And we've only got 7 minutes to go plus a lap. Do you think Kyle Webster has sort of almost mentally defeated Jed Beaton in this particular race?
Yeah, we'll see. There's the fastest lap of the race, 1:44.13. And I can tell you, the last lap around, again, for Webster was a 1:44.4. He has not dropped a second of his race speed. And that there is pretty difficult to run for anyone at any time. And what you're saying as far as being defeated a little bit, yeah, you can't run that pace the whole time. Or if you see you're putting in those fast lap times and that leader is still pulling away, just inching away from you, at some point you've got to think to yourself, okay, we're not going to get there in this race. We might think about running in second place and just getting those points. And right now he is certainly continuing to stretch that lead, and Beaton's got to be thinking about it. You'd have to think he's dropped down. Beaton has dropped down into the 46s. Through the shadows of the Pirelli turn there, and that is something that'll come into play, especially a little bit later on when that sun gets a little lower. You do ride towards the sun around this track. You will have the sun in your eyes, then the shadows in these ruts make it very difficult to get through there nice and smooth. As you see, Metcalf still battling in that position where he's in 9th place at the moment, and still got that film flapping in the breeze. Gibbs there in 3rd. This is a lonely ride, but I tell you what, this is a good ride.
So impressed with Kurt Gibbs this weekend. Let's hope he can put it all together for the 3rd and final moto today. But he has maintained that gap, if not stretched it out a little bit. I was going to say 3.2, but just as I say it, as they've crossed the finish line, it's back down to 2.0.
So Crawford on the charge, on the hunt for another position right now. That radiator shroud still flapping in the breeze. Unfortunate for him that that has played into his race here. But this is what we talked about early in this one, just how far Crawford let everyone else go before he got going as such with his race. Very difficult to close down those gaps, and I mean, Gibbs is going to be it. If he can catch Gibbs, that's where he's going to be able to battle it out. That's the last place he possibly could get.
Well, it'd be so good for Kate to ask him if he can get up on the podium. It's a long shot at the moment, but if he does get up, just to ask him the question, what happened in those early stages of the race? Was it a little bit of arm pump, or were you not expecting that kind of pace from the riders? I think it was Kyle Webster that passed him like he was standing still into turn 2, wasn't it? Just basically didn't even touch his brakes, it looked like.
So that shroud actually went under his leg that time around when he lifted it up. It's not slowing him up too much, though. He's still pushing forwards. So this is there it is, see, underneath his leg there. That's got to be distracting.
Yeah, and it was caught behind him there, and so he had to lift his whole knee off to let it come back across.
Into left-hander. We have 35 seconds left on the clock, so 2 more laps. Can Crawford make another pass right here? And I'll tell you, this is an important one for Crawford if he wants to have a shot at the overall. 4th place, he's still going to pick up some good points, but if he can get to 3rd, that will certainly put him in a much better position for the overall on the day. At the moment, as it sits, there is only 3 points between Webster, Beaton, and Crawford going into that final race of the day for the overall on the day.
Yeah, currently it has Jed Beaton on 44 points, just 1 point ahead of Nathan Crawford, and a further 2 points back to Kyle Webster. That rounds out our top 3, but Jed Beaton sitting pretty, but he hasn't been at his best this weekend. If positions stay the way they are at the moment, it'll be 2 second placings for him. And I think Kyle Webster has shown to be the rider with the pace and the form overall. Yes, yesterday we had Nathan Crawford with a spectacular win, but let's not forget Webster was in the lead before his little off-track excursion and high side off the track.
At that point, though, Crawford was clearly onto the back wheel of Webster as well. So those two were the very strong performance in Moto number 1. And I think I was talking to Craig Dack before we got to air, and he said that, yeah, his Beaton was just a little bit tight yesterday. It looked like he was going to run away with it. We said that, but then just a little bit tight, so maybe a bit of arm pump came into play. We see Crawford to the inside here. They will get the last lap board this time around. He knows the importance of this one. Really wants to make this pass.
Yeah, it'll be a 2-point gain if he can get his way past Kurt Gibbs. And that'll not only be good for his championship points chase, but he really wants to try to get this overall this weekend.
Last lap board out for these boys. Leaders, of course, already gone through, up and over at the finish line. Very close between these. Kyle Webster, 3.3 seconds lead. 17 seconds back from the leader is Gibbs and Crawford, the guys on screen at the moment. Crawford right there, he knows the urgency of this. Again, having to lift the leg to clear that radiator shroud. Swings around the outside here. That's a quick line. Big scrub here. This is a good run down.
Yeah, just unfortunately brought him a little bit tight into that high-speed single jump. But a beautiful line through there. Crisscrossed over a couple of ruts. Lines are going to come together here before the jump. Does he have a Jake Cannon-style inside line here that works so well?
Oh, Gibbsy got caught up. Gibbsy had nowhere to go. He chose the wrong line, and the lap's rider was there, Blake Fox. No fault at all of Fox. He was just in that line, and Gibbs just miscalculated. So Nathan Crawford puts himself up into 3rd place, but no one has seen in this race which way this guy went. Absolutely flawless on the Honda, the 96 machine. Kyle Webster through the big long sweeping right for the last time. Excellent execution off the start lead, and what a performance it is.
Well, he would have been bitterly disappointed from yesterday's throwing it away while leading. Finished up in 6th place, but he has come through to take the win here. Checkered flags wave in Moto2 of the Thor MX1 class, and it's HRC Honda rider Kyle Webster, the Western Australian sandgroper, takes the checkered flag here with still one more MX1 race to go here today at Maitland.
As we take a look at the Thor MX1 results for Moto number 2. Of course, it was Kyle Webster in front of Jed Beaton, Crawford back to Gibbs, Cloud, Todd Waters there in 6th place, Malkowicz with that 7th, Zachary Watson first of the privateers 8th, Brett Metcalf and Matt Moss is your 10th place.
Joel Evans, Luke Zielinski, Bryce Ognesis, Blake Fox there you were talking about earlier in 14th, Connor Rosendich. We've got Campbell, Holroyd, Novak alone, and Marshall rounding out the top 20.
Robbie Marshall still out there racing. Great to see the older guys out there still competing. Liam Jackson all the way back in 22nd. We saw him at 10th yesterday in Moto #1, so not sure what happened there. As we see the rest of the riders come through, let's head down to Kate with our winner.
Kyle Webster, congratulations on P1 on the Boost Mobile Honda. It would have been a hard pill to swallow that tip over yesterday, so this is a fantastic rebound.
Yeah, definitely. It was hard yesterday. I was bummed because I felt like I was riding well and got myself into a good position, but yeah, happy to rebound like that. I felt really strong that whole moto, which was good. It sort of flew by in my head, so I was stoked with that. I was just ticking the laps off, which was nice, and Jed was right there, so the pressure was on. But yeah, big thanks to everyone, the whole team. You know, in the hard races, they get behind you afterwards and bring you back up to get back to a position like this. So yeah, big thanks to everyone in my corner.
100%. Will you go and enjoy this? We'll see you in the next moto.
Yeah, thank you.
Yamaha Australia Motorsport Manager Scott Bishop joins me. Scott, 4 years in this role, but your history with Yamaha goes way back. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, Kate, I've been involved with Yamaha for a long, long time, both as a racer, then as a team manager, a public relations and PR person, and now as motorsport manager. You know, so it's been a lot of time, a lot of decades, but a role I really enjoy, and I'm glad I do it.
But when did it start for you? Like, how old? When did you get your first Yamaha?
1978. So centuries ago, Fred Flintstone days, and got my first Yamaha then. Got my first support from Yamaha in 1982. First sponsorship in major in terms of bikes, 1992. Raced at the end of 2005 and then had managerial roles since then. So a bit as a rider, a bit as a manager, a bit of everything really.
So your trajectory, is this how you always saw it going? And what does the role entail? Because you are everywhere.
Okay, I didn't really want a real job. You know, like that was my issue. I didn't want a real job because I finished school, I was a semi-professional racer, but I didn't want to work for a living, you know, and I love motorbikes, I love the motorbike people and the atmosphere, and so it's kind of evolved from there to sort of becoming something I could earn money from. And then since then becoming onto this role, it's been broadened from just motocross to off-road to road. So I guess it's a bit of everything of all motorcycle discipline.
And juniors, obviously that's a key focus for so many brands, but especially for Yamaha. You put so many resources into the juniors. What are your plans going forward for that next generation?
Oh, like anything, I think, you know, to have your next Dean Ferris and your Jed Beaton, you've got to start somewhere, right? So for Yamaha, it's important we invest in the younger people, in the young categories. So in off-road, we have, you know, junior development programs there. Motocross is the same. And, you know, we try to make sure that we keep finding that next bit of talent. We always need the next guys coming through, and junior development is very critical to us.
Tell us a little bit about how that talent is developed and why it's so important to have ProMX to showcase this type of talent, but also the machines that they're on.
Oh, look, for us, the important thing about talent is, one, is identifying it, and then two is surrounding them with the right people and the right environment and giving them the best opportunity for success. You know, so we take our time to make sure we select not just the right rider, but the right family, and then surround them with the right people and give them the products it takes to succeed. So if we can continue to do that, you'll continue to develop good riders, you know. So from that point of view, it's great. And then to have like a premier event like ProMX, where we get the chance to showcase the best of the best, and we have like Dean and Jed doing that, you know, it makes all those programs worthwhile as a rider step through, and they can aspire to be the next Dean or Jed. 2024
ProMX, what are the hopes? What are the dreams? What can we achieve?
Oh, we want to win. That's what we do. That's what we're here for, right? So at the moment, you know, we've got a red plate back here on Jed's bike. Top 3 in MX2, leading MX3, leading the 85s, top 3 in the MXW class. So the goal is to win all those categories, you know, so that's why we're here. We're doing a pretty good start so far, a long way to go, but hopefully we can keep going and make it better as the year goes on.
Well, best of luck, Scott, and we cannot wait to see your journey continue.
All right, thank you.
Can we see Beaton claw back some points that he lost out of that last one? Will Webster extend those points? Or will we see Crawford come up there and battle it out for another race win? Of course, yesterday we saw Crawford get a very solid win in Moto #1. We take a look at the Thor MX1 Moto #3 lineup. It is Beaton, Webster, Crawford, Kirk Gibbs, Luke Cloud, Bailey Malkowitz, Todd Waters, Zachary Watson, Blake Fox, and Liam Jackson.
Our list of riders goes on. Matt Moss, Luke Zielinski, in what has been The long weekend of racing, a bit of an interesting one, Danny, where we had a race yesterday. Normally traditional format, we just have 2 races for each of the classes. Not the case for this weekend. 3 races, and the story so far for MX1, a win for Nathan Crawford yesterday and a win this morning for Kyle Webster. Jed Beaton, our current championship points leader, has been ultra consistent with second place in both motos, and he still holds down a 2-point gap over his arch rival and nemesis, Kyle Webster. All right, well, time will tell. I'm going to tip a Kyle Webster whole shot and win here. The frustration from him earlier today was real after his crash yesterday. We're about to find out. 5-second borders, get nervous time for the riders. Watch for the drop of the gate. Great jump from Kurt Gibbs once again, and also Kyle Webster. It's a drag race into that first turn, but one of those two, I believe, will have the whole shot.
Beaton was there around the outside as well, but Gibbs leads this one into turn number 2. The Maxxis left-hander. Webster is right there. Oh, Beaton with a big mistake. He's dropped a place, almost 2, as we see Rogers off the side of the track. Webster wasting no time again.
Yeah, no room to be made up the inside. A little bit of a hook and a bump on the far inside, and a casual look over the shoulder. How is the peeled out scrub?
How good is that jump? That jump is so good. Yeah, Beaton was out there, wasn't it?
That's custom made for TV right there. That's brilliant. Throwing it to the inside once again. Oh, Nelly going down. Kyle Webster, and he'll give up a spot, but the WP whole shot going to Kurt Gibbs.
Pounced on that one, was Beaton. He saw the unsettledness. Watson with another good start as well. There is Crawford, Clout. They are back there in 5th and 6th. And there is Matty.
And you know Nathan Crawford has come out in this race here, and he wants to make amends from a slow start in Moto2. It took him a little too long to get up into that race pace. Metcalf trying to throw it up the inside there.
I'm going to put it out there now. If Crawford can get these first couple of laps underway at a quick pace and get into that rhythm again, there is good chance that he'll be able to push forwards and potentially battle for that top 3 position. We see Gibbs up and over the top. They split the lines by the look of it as they went down here. Gibbs to one side, Beaton to the other, but it's still Gibbs that holds this one. Watson holding strong in front of Crawford there.
Crawford's flying. He's going around the outside here, and I tell you, he is on a charge at the moment. Now, have you ever seen such a polar opposite way of approaching the first part of the race to what we're seeing with Nathan Crawford here to what we saw in race 2?
Yeah, here we go. Look at this replay. Here is the mistake by Webster. Front wheel lifting up. He was lucky not to come unstuck completely in those other ruts.
Yeah, started with a bit of a foot dab and then almost high side and went across 2 ruts. But here we see it, the challenge for the lead.
Sorry, mate, I like the way that Beaton went through there. He was a little unsettled, but just wheeling through like it was nothing up the inside.
Yeah, I'm not sure on that line on the far inside.
I agree. I still don't like it, but somehow he made it look good.
He did. He made it look good. I think there's a line that's probably 2 or 3 ruts to the outside of that seems to flow quite good, but it's just like a game of Monopoly here. You're just trying to pick any number. Oh, and just dropped a booby trap straight in front of Metcalf, and that's Blake Fox. Let's hope he's not hurt. He's not in a rush to get back onto the feet, that's for sure.
Yeah, it was unfortunate because it looked like he was making some passes there. He was with Joel Evans on the 81, so Evans returning to the front here. Webster, right, so this last lap has turned it around a little bit, picked up that pace. So we are seeing a role reversal right now from what we saw in Moto number 1 yesterday. Oh, Watson, oh, that's unfortunate.
How many riders have we seen, and I mean good level, top level riders, that have got a little bit of a misjudgment going on with these ruts and almost high-sided and gone over the top? If that doesn't tell you guys at home what's going on with these ruts and how difficult they are, I don't know what will.
There is Fox back up and running again. Certainly no rush. Here we go. Watching the front wheel here, just a little bit overbalanced to the outside.
It's the exact same corner that caused the dramas for Kyle Webster as we watch and see what's going on here. Trying to crawl his way off the track. He is hurt. Oh!
No, even more hurt.
Oh. Wow.
Yeah, that's why it took him so long to get back up and going.
Right, let's watch these riders as they make their way through. This is certainly a very hard charge, a press being put on by Jed Beaton at the moment. He's doing what he loves to do. He's trying to use that raw speed to see if he can get some kind of a gap. And right on cue, this is Kyle Webster's opportunity. He needs to make the pass on Kirk Gibbs and latch on to the back of Jed Beaton. Put that racetrack pressure on the Monster Energy Yamaha rider. With positions how they are at the moment, Kyle Webster will retain that red plate and keep it by 1 point. We are 4 rounds in and just 1 point separates these two absolute warriors. This season is shaping up to be one of the best that we have seen. These two just keep delivering time and time again.
For the overall, as it sits at the moment, 66 points for Webster, 66 points for Beaton, 65 points for Crawford. 1 point between all three of them for the overall here as it sits right now. 13 seconds back is Crawford, so I honestly do not feel that he has much of a chance to try and get up there and battle it out for these next places. Gibbs hasn't given up just yet though, Lee. He still sits there maybe a second and a bit back from Crawford.
What an impressive ride we have seen this weekend from Kirk Gibbs. With brand new bubs just being born earlier on in the week. You can only imagine, you know, we've both got kids of our own. We know what that sleep's like. It's different if you're an athlete, a professional athlete like Kirk Gibbs. I dare say the missus would highly likely let you have a little bit of a leave pass to maybe go sleep in the spare room every now and then for a little bit of an extra good night's sleep. However, you know what it's like when you've got a newborn child, the stresses and the lack of sleep and everything that goes along with it. But do you think that, you know, sometimes, I know we've seen it in the past, your baby comes along and you see the rider do exceptionally well. They just get an extra lift. Do you think we could be seeing that from Kirk Gibbs?
Quite possible. I mean, he has been on the point of really shining for quite some rounds now. We expected to see him up there. He had a good showing there, at least for a bit, at Gilman, and now we are seeing it again today. He's a rider that's always there. There's no doubt.
I just think he's almost getting better with age. I mean, yeah, he was at his best when he won his championships with KTM back in the day, but I think he's looking better right now than we have seen him for years.
Push 199. Here's the board to Gibbs. Love to see him get up and try and make that pass again. It's a difficult part of the day with 8 minutes left in Moto number 3 for these guys to push themselves to that limit and try and close down them gaps. Mistakes like that by Gibbs will not help his cause at all. And it's only those small mistakes that really take a toll on these riders when they are on a charge. There is Clout back there in 5th place, and he sits quite comfortably there in 5th. No one really around him in front or behind.
Now, I know you mentioned it earlier on before, Danny, but 1 point just separating Kyle Webster, Jed Beaton and Nathan Crawford on the podium if positions stay how they are. 66 points apiece for Webster and Beaton, but it will be Kyle Webster who not only keeps that red plate, gets himself a 1 point championship lead, but he will take the overall on the day ahead of Jed Beaton, tied on points with 1 point back to Nathan Crawford. It doesn't get much closer than that.
Exceptional weekend of racing here at Maitland. This track has certainly delivered. Losing Clout to the inside through the shot left-hander on that Kawasaki. A good ride yesterday, getting himself a 3rd place in Moto number 1. Waters equally as good in Moto number 2.
You can just see with Luke Clout on board the Empire Kawasaki, he's just trying to ride his way into form. You can almost, you know, feel the frustration. He knows he wants to be up inside the top 3. Look, ideally, he'd love to be battling with Kyle Webster and Jed Beaton, but for the moment, he knows he deserves to be up in the top 3, and he's just trying to ride his way into the form that he needs to be in. The bike's good, he's fit, he's not carrying over any injuries. We just see a rider off to the left-hand side there. He's obviously still down. Let's hope he's okay.
It's one of those really hard-packed areas where I feel like the back wheels probably spun out leading off the top of that jump. So, fortunate for him, but as we said, we've got race safe here, the best care possible for these riders when the fortunate accidents do happen. Waters standing up all the way through that rut. And there is Metcalf trying his best to try and close down that gap. He's got his goggles working properly this time.
He does, and he's up in 7th place, which I believe is the highest place finish for him throughout the weekend. He's been consistently up in the top 10, as we see Jed Beaton just refuses to let go of the back end here of Kyle Webster. And I think that's his only chance of trying to, you know, I guess swap that position around and try to get that red plate back on the front of his blue machine, is to try to put a little bit of late race pressure here, as we are just about 5 minutes to go, plus a lap. Riders doing the right thing here and really slowing down. That red cross flag being waved vigorously there.
So Beaton was the quickest last time around. A bit hard to gauge that one. It was only 1/10 the difference, but certainly close enough for Webster to feel that pressure. Now, we have mentioned it before, Webster has gone down a couple of times this year with a nice lead like this. We saw it yesterday, Moto #1.
Yeah, well, I guess getting a little bit into the psychology or the mindset of these two riders, one thing you can be, I guess, rest assured of is that Kyle Webster won't fatigue and he won't throw the towel in. One thing that he can potentially do is be forced into a mistake. Maybe go off the track, maybe have a little bit of a crash. Whereas Jed Beaton, I think the last thing you want to allow him to do is to all of a sudden believe that he's still in the race at the latter stage, where he can take a deep breath, regroup and get back into it. I think that can be dangerous, to let someone like Jed Beaton believe that he's still in the race. I think when you make the pass, you try to put a little bit of a gap in. You almost need to, I know this is easier said than done, you need to try to get Jed Beaton to the point of where he believes that he's not in the race anymore.
Waters and Metcalf still holding down the same gaps between each other. Metcalf not wanting to give it up. They're in 6th and 7th. Good shot of just how hard-packed that surface is leading into that jump. Not too bad when you just cruise through the corner like that. Metcalf, nice style all the way around there. Has closed in just a little bit there on Waters, the 47 machine in front of him. You can see these riders really tiptoeing through, especially these corners. Look at the sun in their eyes. Trying to pick up those ruts, not clearing that jump at the moment.
Nice rut there from Brett Metcalf as he's trying to finish off this final race of the day in fine form. Looks like he's still charging with good energy, and I guess if you want a carrot dangled in front of you, there's nothing quite like popping Todd Waters there in front of Brett Metcalf. The red mist in the goggles will be going for sure, as these two look like they're about to light up a little bit of a battle here for the fans.
Through the AMX right-hander. Waters, 2 minutes 50 still on the clock, so we've got about 3 laps to go. And I'll tell you what, if he lays down too much, we're going to see a pass made by Metcalf late in the race here, up and over the finish line. Will they split? They do. Metcalf to the outside where the lap rider is. This could play against him.
Yeah, an interesting line there from Todd Waters as he turned off the outside berm. Riders getting really quite creative, trying to keep out of these deep ruts. Whatever that was in that little transaction there, it was good for Todd Waters as he's, I guess, established his lead ever so slightly there over Brett Metcalf. We've got 2 minutes 15 seconds on the clock, plus a lap to go. Heading down into the deep ruts in the left-hander, Max's turn.
Metcalf trying everything at the moment to close back down. Watch to the inside here, stood up all the way through last time. A little bit hot on the entry in and closed up a lot down here that last lap through this particular part of the track.
Stayed exceptionally low, did Brett Metcalf, off that tabletop. Nice little line, but a bit of a scrub. Landed on the far left-hand side of the track. He's got a couple of lines that are coming together really quite well.
Through the left here, up and over. It used to be called a bit of a canyon jump, I guess. Singles and tabletop. Into the right-hander here for Todd Waters. The 2 separate lines. Metcalf very quick out of here. still not quite close enough to make a pass attempt. Very tight there for Waters, but he really didn't have to put much effort in, right?
No, it's a good line there and almost half the distance of where Metcalf went around the outside. And I just think that you've got to find yourself a good line and stick to it. You go searching and you find something, especially at this late stage of a race. You find a line that catches you unawares, you get a little bit caught in a rut or nearly have a bit of a tip over, and next thing you're gassed. You're blowing out candles. You've got absolutely no energy left whatsoever. 48 seconds left on the clock. The gap still continues to sit right on that 3-second mark between our race leader, Kyle Webster, back to Jed Beaton in second place. And it's 24 seconds back to Nathan Crawford, who really seems to have settled into that third place position and resigned to the fact that he is not going to challenge for the top two here. It's only a further 5 seconds back to Kurt Gibbs.
Yeah, I don't see Kurt Gibbs being able to close that down in these last 2 laps, but you never know, a small mistake getting held up by a lap rider is still potential. See, oh God. Oh yeah, it's gonna just run out 7 seconds towards the finish line here. So last lap board out this time for our race leader. 1 to go, Kyle Webster has made the charge, put himself into the prime position. A long way back now to our second place rider. 3.7 seconds to Jed Beaton, who I feel is, he's pretty much conceded today. I think he's just going to ride this one out, leave on equal points out of this round. He hasn't gained anything, he hasn't lost anything. The championship's still well within grasp for either of these riders.
Well, I think if you look at the form that we saw from Jed Beaton at Wonthaggi and you look at what we saw at Gilman, yeah, he didn't come out on top there, but I think we saw him very, very comfortable and super fast. I would almost give him the nod on speed-wise, even though both of those events, Kyle Webster went 1-1. But I would say here that he hasn't looked to be on the same pace as Kyle Webster through the bulk of the weekend. And if you can call this a bit of an off weekend and still come away with these kind of points and what is going to end up for him at 2-2-2, not too bad. And you would have to bank on the fact that sooner or later, he's going to come back in some kind of fine form. And we'll see the kind of speed that we've seen in recent rounds from Jed Beaton. The one thing that I think is fair to say is that we can no longer just call Kyle Webster a sand specialist, because his hard pack time has arrived. Have a look at how he has conducted himself this weekend on what is one of the most treacherous tracks I have seen in a very long time, Danny.
Proven to be an all-round rider now, Kyle Webster is going to make his way around the final turn. Moto number 3, he will be greeted with the checkered flag. He will gain the overall for the day, and he will maintain that 1-point lead in the championship and that red plate.
What an awesome ride from Kyle Webster.
As we take a look at the Thor MX1 Moto number 3 results, of course, Kyle Webster was your winner in front of Jed Beaton, Nathan Crawford, Kirk Gibbs with a solid ride, Clout there back in 5th.
Todd Waters from Brett Metcalf, great ride there from those two boys. Zachary Watson, likewise. Luke Zielinski from Joel Evans.
Some privateers getting up there in the mix of some high positions there. Liam Jackson was one of those riders as well. Holroyd back there in 16th, Blake Fox in 19th after that crash we saw early on.
List of riders continues here with the Thor results MX1. Levi Rogers, Riley Stevens, Navarin, Grothhughes, great job from all of these riders.
Certainly a track that tested the skill level of all of these riders today, with the shadows, the ruts, the hard pack, and Matt Osback there in last. Let's head down to Kate, who has our winners.
Nathan Crawford, far more intensity at the start of that moto. Talk us through how that race was.
Today was a bit of a struggle. Yeah, I don't know, just didn't ride like I did yesterday, and it's no excuse. I just struggled with the track today. I don't know, it was a little bit different, and the ruts were a lot longer, and I just didn't feel quite as comfortable as yesterday. Obviously, the two boys at the front there sort of rode away from us, which is it's disappointing for me after how I felt yesterday. But I need to take the positives. We're on the box, and we're making good points in the championship, and yeah, I can't ask for much more. I mean, it was a bit of a struggle today, but I'm somewhat happy.
Yeah, a very good point scrap nonetheless.
Thank you.
And in P2 for the round and for the race, Jed Beaton. Jed, talk us through what went down out there. Is it arm pump? What's happening for you?
Yeah, somehow I just really struggled this weekend with the track. Sort of every session I didn't really feel comfortable, especially the races, but just tried to do the best I could. I got off to a way better start in that last one and tried to make it a little bit easier, but yeah, Kyle was riding well today, so yeah, hats off to him, and I wouldn't be up here if it wasn't for the whole CDR Monster Energy Yamaha team. They put in a lot of effort, and we've got some things to go back and work on now, and which is a good thing. We've still got good points over the whole weekend, so yeah, big shout out to them, my brother Ross, for doing such a good program for us. Kyle and I are probably yeah, battling each other the whole time, so it's yeah, it's a tough one, but hats off to Ross for keeping us up here.
Well, the championship is still very much alive, so we'll see you at Murray Bridge.
Yeah, thank you.
And in P1 for the round, Kyle Webster, what a statement in the hard pack. Congratulations, you've got to feel good, you've got the red plate.
Yeah, that was tough. Jed was riding unreal that one, and the race before, they were two really hard motos. So hats off to him, well done to Nathan and all the other guys, but yeah, I'm stoked. That was a much better day than yesterday, so couldn't be much happier with that, and big thanks to the team, everyone who makes it possible, and everyone in my corner. It's been good. We've still got a lot of races to go, and looking forward to it.
See you at Murray Bridge.
Thank you.
Such a fantastic day of racing for Maitland. Here are the championship points, and it is close up front. Cole Webster, 202, Beaton, 201. Nathan Crawford, 176. That's not too far back.
No, he is still well and truly in the game. And Kirk Gibbs, the best of the rest, back there in 4th place. Fantastic job from him. Luke Cloud in 5th place. Let's take a look at our coming up rounds. Make sure you join us June the 23rd as we head to the picturesque Murray Bridge circuit, situated just a handful of kilometres off the banks of the Murray River, for round 5 of the Penrite Oils ProMX Championships, brought to you by AMX Superstores. And while you're at it, make sure you lock in round 4 of the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance Australian Superbike Championships, presented by Moto, as it heads next to Morgan Park Raceway in Queensland from July the 12th to the 14th. Well, what an incredible day's racing we've seen here in Maitland for round 4 of the Penrite Oils ProMX Championships, brought to you by AMX Superstores. Thanks so much for joining us. On behalf of Danny Ham, Kate Peck and myself, Lee Hogan, thanks for your company. We'll see you next at Murray Bridge in South Australia for round 5 of the championship, June the 23rd. Goodbye for now.